So 2024, here we are. We've got new things that are coming down the pike all the time, but the main thing everybody wants is to stop getting phishing emails. And I found this one years ago, and I think it's still probably one of the best phish attempts that I see on a regular basis. Hey, I don't want to get phishing emails anymore, so click here. Don't click there, please. It just causes problems. So the knowns for 2024. Your personal information isn't private anymore. It's available for me to go out on the dark web, use my debit card or a hacked credit card or any other sort of messaging, and I can pretty much buy anybody a profile of anybody that exists in the world today if I want to ruin their life and make it worse. I can get a full credit report on James Brophy, not credit. I can get his entire financial history off the internet because of the hacks at TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Anything and everything that he's done since November of 2022 is available on the dark web for me to use. I can pass any check that I want to pass for him. And you know how much it costs? $5. Now, if I buy in bulk, if I want to buy like, 10,000, I could probably get it down to less than $1 per. And then I could just swipe it on my debit card and I'll even get tech support from the bad guys providing it to me to use it. So keep that in mind that your personal information isn't private. There's a massive labor shortage. If anybody here on the meeting today is a retired individual, you can get a second career very easily. Or if you want to make a career change from what you're currently doing and go into cybersecurity work, it is a well-paying job. And there's so many positions to be filled. There are so many. I attend regular peer group meetings and industry events, and this is like the constant #1 topic is finding enough people to fill these positions because there's so much data that's being generated, and the bad guys are highly compensated for any crack in security they can get. But if you notice there's 4 million cybersecurity workers needed, 4 million worldwide. That's amazing. It just is. And then with the evolving geopolitical stuff, the world is on fire in the Middle East, and all of these things are running additional ransomware schemes for cash trap. They're all needing money for whatever reason, and a lot of them are using it as a cause to generate money and give back to these other warring countries. So sometimes it's, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to clarify, when you're talking about changing jobs that are well paid, you mean as the good guys in this scenario?
Yes, as the good guys. If
excellent.
It's starting salary in a lot of cybersecurity positions are starting is over $60,000 a year.
Okay.
You can very easily, very quickly get from 60 to 100 and up to 150 and beyond in cybersecurity. And if you're a retired individual, you can kind of work your own hours if you want. Go back to school, spend 6 to 8 weeks getting some training. Just be willing to fulfill the position. There's so many things that you could do to be entertained with, and that's what I consider all IT work. To me is entertaining. It's really not work if you love what you do. All right, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. It's an old adage, came back from our friend Ben Franklin. I see this all the time. People keep their head in the sand and they don't want to, if they figure if they just ignore it, it'll go away, and it never does. Because the #1 rule in cybersecurity is you must be prepared just enough to be too time consuming for the bad guys. Remember, the whole thing in cybersecurity, in the hacks that the bad guys perpetuate, it's about money. You are a target because of the money that you can generate for the bad guys. And it may not be you specifically, but you may have contacts that they can leverage through you to get to someone else in order to get a big payday. So you are the #1 threat to your own cybersecurity because you're untrained, if you're untrained. So I recommend folks visit some of these websites. I'm not going to give you Google links. I'm not going to give you internet links because there's no reason. You can easily Google these things and carefully find them. Don't just click on the first thing that pops up. So the U.S. government CISA, Cybersecurity Awareness Program, is a great program, and it's updated regularly. I got to meet the FBI, one of the FBI guys that contributes to this on a monthly or quarterly basis. And he's a pretty sharp dude. Much younger than I am at these days, but I'm impressed at where he came from and what he's doing to help try to protect American citizens. Then the National Cybersecurity Alliance, Online Safety and Basics for Children and Families, another great resource. And then Internet Safety. All right, social media hacking, using you to hack your friends and acquaintances. Everybody here, I'm sure, has a Facebook account, and they've been friends with somebody for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and suddenly they get a friend request from somebody that looks just like your friend. And in the past, everybody just clicked on those and approved them, and they very quickly became, fake versions of you in order to leverage you to get to somebody else. Be very careful of any new Facebook friend requests if they appear to be from your old friends. Actually check into the profile and make sure that it's real, specifically on Facebook. It's very easy to go in and look at and see your friend that's been your friend for 10 years, and you look at their new account and it's got 6 friends and no pictures and no history and no explanation. Just be careful. It's important. Again, we go back to train yourself. This is covered. The social media hacks are covered under the CISA and the online safety and the cybersecurity for seniors. Ransomware as a service. I think I've covered this before, but ransomware was where the bad guys get a program on your machine, and then they encrypt all of your stuff, and then they deliver a message to you that says, hey, we've encrypted all your data, and if you want it back, you're going to have to pay us some money. And they usually want it in Bitcoin, but now they'll do Western Union, or they'll even take a check in a money order in the mail. I've seen that as an occasional thing. So they got a PO box set up somewhere that forwards to another PO box, and in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, the bad guy gets their money. Anyone could do ransomware. Pick anybody that you know, and in an hour of Googling, you can find the connections that you need in order to be able to do your own ransomware. It's that easy. You go out on the dark web, you can find this stuff, and there it is. Just like Amazon or Walmart or Home Depot for the dark web. So the key thing is, are you backing up your files and disconnecting the drive from your computer? A lot of people will run backups and never disconnect the drive. Then they have a ransomware event, and the ransomware software encrypts the C drive where all your data is, and it also gets your backups too. So if you have a backup, I recommend at least 2, one drive that's connected to your machine to run the backup, and one that's in your safe that's not connected. And then you swap them periodically, so that at least maybe you'll have a chance to recover all of those files. The worst events that I see are when people lose all of their baby pictures. They don't care about their financial records. They don't care about all this other stuff, but they lose access to their kids' pictures because everybody takes pictures on their cell phones and they back them up to their PCs. So make sure that you're backing up your data from a smartphone. If everybody has an iPhone or an Android, you can back it up to Verizon. You can back it up to Apple. Same thing with your tablet. On your PC, you're going to have to use, a piece of software. Get an external hard drive. You can go down to Staples, you can go down to Walmart, and you can pick up one of those. If you have backups, you don't have to pay the ransom. And if you don't pay the ransom, you don't perpetuate the bad behavior. Okay. So this is pretty much how I look at the world on a regular basis. Is the 2 risks. The security risk. It's everybody that works for here and everybody that doesn't. Because if you look at any analysis of the world, a large percentage are so unprepared for the bad things that are about to happen to them, that they cause issues. So crypto mining, still a big thing. Did you see the report, James? It came out in November. They said 22% of all electricity usage in China, 22% of all electricity usage in China is going to crypto mining. Yeah. 1.4 billion people, and 20% of the electricity is going to crypto mining. It's just tremendous. It is just tremendous how much that is. And they can slip programs onto everybody's machines, depending on the website you go to or don't go to, that cause your computer to suddenly participate in the crypto mining. So now they're using your electricity and your computer resources to hack away at that. So use a good antivirus or internet security package. There's a few that are listed there. They're going to change on a yearly basis on who's number one, but these guys are generally in the top 5, top 10, and it's fine. Nation-backed cybersecurity attacks against public infrastructure. This has been in the news quite a bit lately about the Chinese being in the water structure, in our water delivery systems, in all of our public utilities, and being inside of and stopping the ability for water to flow. We all know that municipalities generally aren't as well funded as they could be, and so they hire the lowest bidder to install a network to protect, so they can manage the flow of water throughout the city or municipality. And whoever the lowest bidder was didn't change the default password away from password when they installed that gear. Bad guy gets in there, boom, the Chinese have taken over, or the bad guy's taken over that part of the water system. Now they know, here it is, in February, and this was just out 3 weeks ago. So it's already been, can't believe it's been 3 weeks. There was a huge report about how the Chinese have infested all of our US water supply networks. If they're in the water, they're probably in the electrical grids. Telecommunications, maybe not. Gas pipelines, well, you remember 3 years ago, we had that gas pipeline that was shut down for how many weeks? And caused, gas prices to double, triple. It had $9 a gallon gas down in Georgia because of the gas pipeline. And then, of course, you got the internet too. It's kind of scary. So be prepared. Again, we're back to the very first slide of being prepared. Get a home generator and keep fresh gas on hand. Now, one of the other things you can do that somebody else suggested was keep a siphon and be able to siphon out of your tank of your car. It's a good thing to have in the garage just in case, because you always have, so many gallons of gas in your car to run on your generator. Keep an extra week's worth of food around. 7 gallons of water and 8,400 calories per person per week. It's easy math. See if that works. Get a battery backup for your cell phone. You can get battery backups all over the place for $20, and it'll at least charge your cell phone one time. If you can, and can afford to, get the bigger one that can do it twice. Have a go bag with essentials for 3 days. Be sure to have a copy of your important documents. These are all little things that you can do to be prepared. Because if we do have one of these attacks happen and they take out the water system or the electrical grid, it's going to be rough while the system gets taken back over. Think about all those things that are plugged into your house today that weren't there 10 years ago. How many of us have Ring doorbell cameras, external, security cameras, Bluetooth locks on our front door, Bluetooth garage door openers now? And that was a new one that, is your car pulls up into the driveway and boom, because your car's there, the garage door opens. Or the smart TVs, the smart refrigerators that know when you take food in and out of the refrigerator. All of those things are all connected to the internet, and all of them are weaknesses, have their own set of weaknesses that can make you vulnerable to attack. The only thing, or the best thing to do, is keep your devices updated. Make sure you know that they're being updated by the manufacturer. Check if you can. Push them to do updates if you can. Vishing. This was in the news. Somebody famous got vished. $50,000. She's a radio personality, talk show host that talks about financial transactions. I just saw it on the news this week. And she got, because the bad guys said, hey, we've got your family members and we need 50 grand in cash dropped into this box, and boom. Have some sort of safe word set up so that you know if the bad guys have your family, because the bad guys don't go around kidnapping random people. It just doesn't happen. But they prey on those fears, and it goes from there. Family members need money now or goes to jail. It's just Don't fall for this. Hamas is using this with hostages. That's the one that's reprehensible to me, is they're using it on the hostages. They're stealing the hostages' cell phones and they're calling the family and they'll say, hey, we'll let you talk to your family member for, we need $500 and we'll let you talk, 3 sentences to your family member just to confirm their life. That's rough. Be suspicious with any demand that is urgent and cannot wait. Compromised accounts. Are you still sending 6-digit codes to your cell phones? The bad guys will steal your phone number and get to get that code. We had this happen in October. I was aware of a case where somebody went to bed at 10 o'clock at night because that was their normal bedtime. The bad guys activated a transfer of their account from Verizon to AT&T. Then they had access to their cell phone. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, they got the 6-digit code to log into the bank account and implement a $3 million wire transfer. The only thing that stopped that was in the morning, a person had to approve each one of those at the bank. A person had to approve each one of those wire transfers. And it was out of the ordinary for this person to move $3 million. So they disapproved the transfer. Otherwise, that money would have been gone. Use MFA when you can. Use the Google Authenticator, the Microsoft Authenticator, Duo, anything you can that's more than just that 6-digit code to a text message. Anybody that you're working with today that has a system you log into, most of them have some sort of MFA that's an application on your phone rather than a 6-digit text code. Number 9, illicit transfers from your checking account. Is anybody monitoring or everybody monitoring their checking account looking for these little transactions? $1.99, $19.99, $9.99, $14.99. They're all there. We do them all the time. We don't realize how many things we subscribed for or subscribed to. And they just siphon out, $2 at a time. But if it's $2 times 10,000 people, that suddenly becomes some real money. But how many people would notice $2 a time? Then if you get smishing is when you get text messages you weren't expecting. I get this one. I think that was mine. Yeah, that was mine. Amazon purchase. So there we go. The tattletale on this one is we don't use periods and commas in that way on our numbers, to me. And I know, I asked my wife, did you buy an iPhone 13? And she said she didn't. So then it was okay. I figured, there's an example of a smishing text. Don't respond. 99.99% of the time it's fake. It's amazing how much fake stuff is out there. And if you're trained, you'll learn the stuff that's fake. Wrapping up. Did we hit the time frame? Yeah, we did. Take the time to invest in yourself. Learn about cybersecurity.